I get asked two questions all the time. The first one is, where do you keep all these drums? Because when people find out you've got a lot of drums, they immediately ask, well, where do you keep them all? Thinking that I've got them all in some sort of spare room upstairs or something. And the other question I get asked, which is probably the question I've been asked more, is what's my favourite snare drum? And I've never been able to give a straight answer to that, because I don't have a straight answer for that. Because I have two favourite snare drums. I have a metal snare drum and I have a wood snare drum. And it's not specifically that I split them in that I must have a metal snare drum and I must have a wood snare drum. It's just because they both they both hold that sort of that point or mark for me for different reasons, but I can't separate the two out. Now, the first drum, the metal drum, is this, and it's I'm not actually sure I've ever done a video on these, but if I haven't, I'll check, and if I haven't, I will do one. But this is the original Diamond series by Craviotto. It was released, I think, in 2007. I'm going to put that down before I drop it. And it was it's a nickel over brass drum, 8 lugs. This is the 14 6.5 version. I also have the 14 by 5.5 version in the studio, because obviously I am now in the house and I feel like I'm on some sort of chat show, sitting in my front room doing this on the sofa. It's a lot warmer, it's a lot more comfortable than the studio, but it's just very strange. I got this drum in 2007, I think it was, when they were released. I got this particular drum from Steve Maxwell, and this is number 7, I think. Yep, this is number 7 of 50. There was 50 in the 6.5, there was 50 in the 5.5. Now, the reason it's my favourite metal snare drum is mainly because of the sound. It's a fantastic instrument. Being a nickel over brass, it looks cool, but it sounds cool as well. And obviously, no drum is worth anything if it's, you know, it might look fantastic, but if it sounds rubbish, then it's just, you know, it's not going to get anywhere. But this drum looks fantastic and it sounds fantastic as well, and that's really down to Adrian Kirschler, who's the guy that built the shell. It might say Craviotto on the shell, but it's Adrian Kirschler that built the drum and designed the drum. And Adrian Kirschler, for me, is every bit the craftsman in metal that Johnny Craviotto was in wood. And you know, the engraving on this thing, you get a good look at that. That's all hand engraved stuff. You know, and it is just amazing, the detail. It's just, you know, stunning. And I love Adrian's work. I'm a massive fan of Adrian's work. I've got I don't know how many of his drums I've got now. Admittedly, I've only got the gold drum, which I have, which you may have seen, which is currently actually outside on a display stand in my hallway. Adrian made that, but the gold one is an AK, and all the other ones are Craviotto branded ones. I think I've probably got maybe 10. I'm going to say 10 of Adrian's drums. And they're all sort of, you know, I got the first few runs of the Craviotto collaboration. I got both sizes, and then when the Masters Metal Brass came out, I think there were 4 sizes, and I just got the I think the 4.5, 14 by 4.5 version, or 14 by 4 version, I think it was, because I certainly didn't need a 14 by 8. And I had a 6 and, you know, 6.5, and I got 5, and I thought, you know, I can't spend 8,000 quid on 4 snare drums at that point, and or in fact now, even I just couldn't spend 8,000 quid on 4 snare drums. But you know, I've kept up and I've kept my hand in with them, so I can't buy every drum or both drums anymore because I've got a mortgage to pay, which I didn't have when I bought this one and the others. But I've got a mortgage to pay now. But I do keep my hand in with them. I've got at least one of every of the series that the collaboration series. I still think these are the best of the AK Cravioto collaborations. I still think these are the best ones, and I probably find a lot of people would agree with that as well. But in terms of why I like it so much, it's everything to do with Adrian Kirschler. Um, Adrian, if you do see this, because I know you do see some of my videos, if you do see this, it is on my bucket list to shake your hand. I don't have a passport at the moment, so I ain't going to be coming to Italy, so you're going to have to come to London. But it's on my bucket list to shake your hand. I shook Johnny's hand. I've shaken Ron Donette's hand, who I also have a lot of time for as a drum builder, who is also one of my favourites. And you are the only one left that I need to shake your hand at some point and buy you a beer. So, yeah, hopefully that'll happen at some point. The other drum is that one, and this is my Timeless Timber. This is a 14 by 5.5 that was made by Johnny. I have had this for 10 years. This was the first drum that I bought from Steve Maxwell in 2006. I think I paid $2,200 for it. I don't remember what that was in sterling, but it's a one of one because it was right at the end of the run apparently that Johnny did, and it was a shell that he had left over. John Aldridge did the hoops because the hoops are all engraved, and it's 24 karat gold hardware. The trick strainer is blinged out as well, and the reason why this is my other favourite snare drum is because it represents a lot of things that I kind of I wouldn't say I don't aspire to be a drum collector now. I don't see myself as a drum collector. I don't see myself as anything in that respect. I find it a little bit embarrassing, to be honest. I have a lot of drums. The whole thing about drum collecting, I find to be very odd. I look at a drum collector. To me, is someone like Mike Curato. If you know anything about vintage drums, then you'll know who he is. If you don't know who Mike Curato is, then seriously, you have to look the guy up. He's got the most amazing snare drum collection. I think was in sort of 600 or something, pieces, all restored to original sort of spec and condition. They're pretty much all sort of vintage. I mean, there's modern stuff as well, but all vintage drums, all rare stuff, one-offs, Black Beauties, anything that you could possibly want, he's got. And then you got people like Buddy Carlos, Chet Falzarano, who's the big Gladstone guy, Steve Maxwell himself. Steve's got a tremendous amount of Timeless Timbers, Craviotos, and there's a guy called Dave Brown over here, who's a big, well-known drum collector. I just happen to be a hugely lucky person from London who has more money than brains, and that's the honest way that I see it. I just I've been lucky enough to be able to buy some fantastic, wonderful instruments, but I don't see myself as a drum collector. But being able to buy wonderful instruments is actually one of the reasons why this drum is so special to me, is because when I first saw a Timeless Timber. It was in my local drum shop. It used to be able to walk in, and the the counter was on the left, and this drum, well, the little space about that wide. And this drum, say not this drum, but the Timeless Timber they had was like on I think like on a pedestal with a in a glass case, opposite the counter. And I remember looking at it and thinking, wow, it's like, it's such a special drum, and it's special wood, 600-year-old maple that's been dug out the bottom of this lake, and and it's 2,000 quid, and it's just if I had the money, would I buy it? And the thing was that I never thought I would own this type of drum. I never thought I could own this type of drum. And the fact that I actually now have two of these, I've got this one, I've got the smaller one, which is a separate video in itself. It kind of, this was one of the earlier Craviottos that I got as well, funnily enough. As I said, it was the first one that I bought from Steve Maxwell 10 years ago. It was one of the earlier ones I had in the little congregation of Craviottos that I have. But this drum represents everything that I kind of never thought I would have. And that's just the materialistic side of it. In terms of sonics, I did a little demo recording funny enough, that was about 10 years ago as well. About 10 years ago, where I used it on this recording, and I remember at the time it sounded just slightly, it had some sort of edge to it, that maybe it was just that day, it was the room, the way I hit it, I don't know, but it just, to me, it sounded, there was something about it that sounded really cool. So this drum represents, as I said, everything that I never thought I would get or be able to have, and sums up my appreciation for Johnny Craviotto, probably more than all the others. So that's the answer, the very long but full answer to the question of what is my favourite snare drum. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.